Welcome back to Football Daily, where we are looking at 10 players your club will regret letting go. You may wish these players were never sold. Let's get started. 10. Allan. Carlo Ancelotti is reaping the rewards of finally getting the midfield he craved at Everton. James Rodriguez already looks like a star reborn, while Abdoulaye Doucouré has provided some much needed energy in the middle of the park. But it is arguably Allan who has been the most important addition of the three, with the Brazilian showing just why PSG wanted to buy him for £45 million only 12 months ago. Allan joined the Toffees from Napoli, where he had cemented his reputation as one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe. Between 2017 and 2019, he attempted and won more tackles than any player in Serie A, repeating that feat with successful pressures. Not only that, in 18-19 under Ancelotti, Allan completed 267 passes into the final third, showing a dynamism to his game beyond being a ball winner. It's no surprise Ancelotti was so keen on a reunion with the 29-year-old, and equally baffling Napoli were more than willing to let him go. Though he had fallen out of favour under Gattuso, there is no doubting his pedigree at his best. For just £22.5 million, Everton have captured an elite midfielder who Napoli may miss once the going gets tough again this season. 9. Tanguy Nianzou. PSG have developed the unfortunate habit of losing their prize academy assets for nothing. Kingsley Coman and Moussa Dembele both quit PSG in their teens, while even Matteo Guendouzi spent 9 years with Le Parisien before heading to Lorient. This summer it's happened again, with Adel Al-Shish and star defender Tanguy Nianzou Kouassi both deciding their futures lay beyond the French capital. If watching Al-Shish shine for Saint-Etienne wasn't painful enough, seeing Nianzou leave for Bayern Munich will be particularly painful. In 1920, the 18-year-old centre-back made 6 first-team appearances for PSG, even scoring on 2 occasions. His first goal marked the 4,000th in the French Giants' history, and they certainly hoped Nianzou would be writing the next chapter in their story for years to come. However, much to their frustrations, he decided to sign his first professional contract with Bayern, even rejecting offers from AC Milan and RB Leipzig. With Thiago Silva also leaving the club, it suddenly meant PSG are lacking in the centre-back department. Considering the faith Thomas Tuchel had already put in the teenager, plus an open path to the first team, losing Nianzou will have been a bitter pill to swallow. 8. Jeff Hendrick. Jeff Hendrick quitting Burnley for Newcastle United was a move that drew little emotion from anyone watching on. On the surface of it, the Republic of Ireland international was a fairly uninspiring midfielder, who had only scored 7 times and registered 4 assists for the Clarets since joining from Derby in 2017. But as his Newcastle debut shows, there is a lot more than meets the eye when it comes to Hendrick. The 28-year-old played the full 90 minutes against West Ham United, assisting for Callum Wilson before smashing in a goal of his own. Not only that, he completed 5 long balls, 3 dribbles and chipped in with 3 blocks and interceptions, showing a real diversity to his game. Newcastle have gained a seasoned international who should perfectly complement their midfield options. Burnley meanwhile are yet to replace him and are stuck with the solid if slightly limited trio of Westwood, Cork and Josh Brownhill in the middle. If they don't address that issue soon, then Sean Dyche may rue not trying harder to keep Hendrick down in Lancashire. 7. Ayan Zahavi. Any keen football fanatic should know all about the goal machine that is Ayan Zahavi. Over the past 7 years, the Israeli forward has emerged as a prolific force, first for Maccabi Tel Aviv and then for Guangzhou RNF in China. In his homeland, he struck 127 times in 168 games, before arguably surpassing that feat with 103 goals in 117 appearances in the Chinese Super League. In 2019, he went at a rate of over a goal a match, netting 29 times in 28 games to set a new division record. His exploits saw him net a salary in the region of €10 million a season, an incredible sum for a player once rejected by Palermo after 2 dismal seasons in Italy. However, the sun has finally set on Zahavi's Far East adventure, with PSV Eindhoven handing him a second chance in a European big league, much to the dismay of the Guangzhou fans. Whether or not the 33-year-old can cut it in the Eredivisie remains to be seen. But one thing is for sure, Guangzhou may never find a forward with a taste for goals quite like Zahavi again. 6. Amin Guri. OGC Nice in France will be quietly thrilled they managed to pinch Amin Guri from Ligue 1 rivals Lyon. The 20-year-old forward joined the Eagles for a modest £6.3 million, but has already made a blistering start to life in the French Riviera. From his first 4 games, Guri scored twice and assisted 1, while at the time of writing no player in Ligue 1 boasts a better shot-to-goal ratio than the Frenchman. It therefore begs the question why Lyon even let him go. Les Gonnes had already sold Martin Terrier to Rennes and faced the inconvenient reality of seeing Memphis Depay, Moussa Dembele and Houssam Aouar all being clutched from their grasp. With that in mind, it's a surprise to see the young Guri not given a season to prove his worth. Lyon fans will be particularly annoyed that their main replacement up front, Karl Toko Ekambi, still fails to fire on a regular basis. For a team that survives on producing quality talent in abundance, it's regretful to see Guri continuing his development elsewhere. 5. Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. It's early days, but it already looks like Southampton will regret not convincing Pierre-Emile Højbjerg to extend his stay on the south coast. The Saints have suffered a dismal start to the season, beaten twice in the league and even crashing out of the Carabao Cup at home to 2nd Division Brentford. On each occasion they were out-battled in the middle of the park, with Ralph Hasenhüttl bemoaning after the Brentford game that his side were not physically and mentally quick enough to compete. This is where Højbjerg will be missed, as the Dane provided the comfort and bite in midfield that Hasenhüttl was after. In 1920 he ranked 8th for interceptions and 9th for tackles won in the Premier League, and his recovery skills allowed Southampton to launch their quick counter-attacks and vertical football that served them so well. As it stands, his interim Will Smallbone has a lot to learn. Tottenham did incredibly well to sign the 25-year-old Danish international, and though his debut got off to a rocky start, in his subsequent games he's already shown what he's all about. 4. Sebastian Anderson. Last season signalled the arrival of hipster favourite Union Berlin to the Bundesliga for the first time in their modern history. The punk rock-inspired and community-led outfit had finally scaled the heights of German football, thanks in part to their Swedish forward Sebastian Anderson, who struck 12 times across 18-19 as Die Eisener sealed a historic promotion to the playoffs against Stuttgart. Anderson proved a class act, wasting no time asserting himself in the Bundesliga. Thanks to an incredibly efficient 57.4% shots on target, Anderson netted 12 times as the German minnows coasted to an 11th place finish. Only Gladbach's Marcus Thuram hit the target more often, while no player won more aerial duels in the Bundesliga than the 6'3" Swedish international. Sadly for Union Berlin, for all their goodwill they lack serious financial muscle. So when Cologne came calling this summer, Anderson asked to leave, and a £5.9 million transfer was sanctioned. Max Kruse may have arrived as a replacement, but as their 3-1 opening day defeat to Augsburg shows, it could be a long and difficult season for Union without their star man up top. 3. Leroy Sane. Arguably the deal of the summer was the £14.5 million Bayern Munich paid to bring Leroy Sane to the Allianz Arena. Even though he had just 1 year remaining on his Man City contract, it's still incredible value for a player of his calibre, which should only strengthen De Rotten's already monstrous squad further. Sane's desire to leave ultimately forced Man City to cash in on the 24-year-old, but almost everyone agrees they will inevitably miss having their exceptionally talented winger around. At his peak, Sane was a player capable of registering over 25 goal involvements in a season, taking up 2.7 shots per 90 and completing a massive 3.3 dribbles per game. In fact, during the 17-18 campaign, only Kevin De Bruyne posted more than the young German's 15 assists in the Premier League. In fairness to City, they still have quality in Riyad Mahrez and have signed an astute replacement in Ferran Torres. But it's still regretful that we won't be seeing Sane in full flight at the Etihad on a regular basis, because as sporting spectacles go, they don't get much better than that. 2. Vedat Muriqi. Over on EFD we introduced Vedat Muriqi as an obscure star your club should be signing. And sure enough, the Kosovan forward has been snapped up by Lazio. The 26-year-old was a man in demand after netting 15 times for Turkish side Fenerbahce last season as they spluttered to 7th in the Super League. Despite their struggles, Muriqi remained a constant threat. He registered 3.9 shots per 90, the third most in the Turkish top flight, and won a mammoth 4.9 aerials per game. Were it not for his 2 red cards, the Kosovan's goal return could have been even higher. After missing out on any lucrative European football, Fener always looked destined to sell Muriqi. Lazio wasted little time, snapping him up for just over £15 million, and with Champions League football on offer we will finally see just how good he really is. Fenerbahce meanwhile have only brought in the aged Enner Valencia as a replacement. Should they fail to capture any of their other targets in attack, they could remain a mid-table team a little while longer. 1. Willian. For all Chelsea's excellent business this summer, perhaps the one mistake they made was allowing Willian to join Arsenal. It's often underappreciated just how consistently the Brazilian performed for the Blues during his 7-year stay in West London. Every season his goal contributions remained constant, while his attacking metrics never faltered, regularly peaking over 5.5 shots and key passes per 90. When the likes of Hazard or Pedro went missing, Willian was there to fill in the gaps. What's even more scary is that the former Shakhtar star only improved with age. 1920 was statistically his best yet for Chelsea, scoring 9 times and registering 7 assists in Lampard's maiden campaign. It's still understandable why the Blues didn't want to give the now 32-year-old the 3-season deal he was after, especially considering their influx of signings. But as his performances in the early stretches of the season show, Willian is still a quality performer Mikel Arteta is more than happy to accommodate. As Chelsea battle to gel together their new glitzy squad, they may begin to miss the reliable presence of Willian more than ever. So guys, that was 10 players your club will regret letting go. What did you guys think of the rundown, and did I miss anyone out? Let me know in the comments down below. As I said earlier, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.